Greetings, Facebook Live. How y'all doing? Getting ready to get it popping right now. Getting ready to get it started. How y'all doing? Can y'all share the show? Give us some hearts and thumbs up. We are getting ready to start right now. Today's show is the part 3 in the 3-part Inferior Motives. We are doing materialism. Materialism. Ooh. What does that mean to y'all? What does materialism mean to all of us? I think it has a kind of feeling, the word itself. It makes us feel petty or like small, that, you know, you want your car or your clothes to represent you. And where does that come from? Where does that come from? And how do we struggle with it? Each one of us. Ready, Brother Shay?
Yeah, as soon as Aaron stepped in the booth, we good.
All right. We are running a little bit behind, but that's all right. We have a very busy evening. We're getting ready to have our show. Well, my performance is happening. Well, so
Yes.
the show, and then after that, the performance, and then my sister Black Pearl's got a birthday party. So, woo! It's going to be a busy evening. Gonna do some shining brightly, though.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait, Mama.
Shining brightly.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Getting ready to get it popping right now, y'all.
Greetings, Facebook Live family. All right.
Thank you for this water, Brother Shay.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Have some of this.
Turn down?
No, I was talking about me on this.
Oh.
All right. Good evening. Welcome to the True Love Movement Hour. It's your host, Brother Shaq.
And Mama
And
Fire.
we would like to welcome everyone here this lovely, breezy New Orleans, November 24th, 2018, here on WBOK 12:30 a.m. Real Talk for Real Time with True Love Movement Hour. Celebrating 5 years this month, Mama Fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of Saturdays, huh?
A lot of Saturdays.
Lot of
and we've
Saturdays,
been committed because it's such a great environment and such a great time. We want to thank WBOK 12:30 a.m. for
Right
this
on.
opportunity, for
That's
sure.
right, for being brave and courageous and bringing the people what the people want. You know what I'm saying, Mama Fire?
Yes.
A show where we got political education for the black nation wrapped in black mental wellness. You know what I'm saying? And the kind of show that black folks all over the world can be proud of, man. It's an honor to be with y'all. And we give thanks for you tuning in with us, because there's so much happening in New Orleans. Of course, we got Bayou Classic Weekend right here, right now. Southern and
Sure
Grambling
do.
in the city, coming off of the Black Friday yesterday and the Thanksgiving holy days and what have you, different little things happening here in the city. So, you know, we're honored because there are a lot of things happening. So we're glad you've chosen to ride with us. And of course, you can like the True Love Movement page on Facebook and catch us live here in the studio. Shout out to our Facebook Live family. We got Rodnika has joined us. We got
Hey, my sister.
we got Natasha Wilson. We
All right.
got some other folk in there too. I can't see everybody, but we're glad you're there, and we'll do what we can to correspond on the air. Of course, the thread doesn't die. And for everybody else, you can catch us on the web, www.wbok1230am.com. The WBOK 1230am app available on Google Play and the App Store, as well as your AM dial 1230 on the radio station, 1230 AM. Many ways to connect, and shout out to everybody. You know, we are really grateful for you all. And I'm grateful for you too, Mama Fi, because it's already been a busy day.
Busy, 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 busy. Yeah, I still have a lot of family in town. Shout out to my family. We had a beautiful Thanksgiving.
A lot of dogs.
That's very true. So we're dog sitting and all kind of stuff going on at the house. And but thank you, Brother Shaq, too, for keeping me, keeping me company and keeping me focused. Um, Definitely always supporting in a very positive way. So I hope everybody's hollow days time was not hollow at all. It was
Right.
very full with your family and love, and not too much materialism either.
Definitely not too much materialism, Mama Fire. I think that's a great segue to get into today's topic. As we're starting a little bit behind, we're gonna make up that time because you just left a powerful sound check, family.
Sure did.
Mama Fire is getting ready to hit that stage a little bit after 8 o'clock this evening at the Embassy Studios showcase.
Yes.
And that whole story, that will be coming out soon about how all of that happened and what happened with it. But
manifestation.
It's an opportunity to come hear her do some live, brand new music from the second forthcoming studio album, Late Bloomer, which corresponds to the book, Keep It High, Thoughts in a New Light.
Yes, it does.
I'm so proud, Mama Fire. I can't even express that.
Every piece is from Keep It High, Thoughts in a New Light. And the album itself is called Late Bloomer. I just thought it encompassed, the desire to do what I do, the desire to just shine without having to have any type of age requirements, just to do me. And, Late Bloomer is just a silly way to think of a flower, anything that blooms for that matter.
Right.
And so, so it's going to be nice. I just calling out for people to come by. It's a free show. Yes. It's going to be nice. They're going to have it's going to be great. You have a lot of performers.
Definitely.
And these young people are very, very talented. Mm-hmm. And so if you want a good show that's free and just to come see the studios, come meet the people involved with the studios, but also come see the Fashion Institute, Material Institute that they have as well. And, just to see what's up.
There's a lot happening over there.
There is.
You got a whole lot of folks over there, brothers by the name of Virgo. We got Darcy Falls, Erica Falls' daughter. She's a part of that.
She sure is.
We got Emmeline, Amina.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see these sisters and these young brothers just doing a thing. I'm glad to be with them.
Right on.
I'm glad to be in communion with them in the space. So come prepared to stay and see some real phenomenal stuff.
2120 Port Street. We're going to talk about it one more time before we get off the air, and we're going to drop the flyer in the feed on Facebook.
Oh, but we've been promoting that flyer, Brother Shag. People should know by now.
Old school. We did old school walking, hit the street.
We sure did. We went to Bayou Road, and shout out to Bayou Road. Shout out to Community Book Center.
Definitely.
Listen, the Kickstarter campaign is still up and running.
7 more hours.
We need people to really try to donate what you have. I understand people might not be able to donate $10 per child, but maybe $10 per family.
Right.
And just donate. Listen, Brother Shaq said if 260 people, well, I know we less than that now because I donated, but 260 people, if they donate $10 each for each family, I mean, they're going to get their mark and more.
Definitely.
And so, listen, when we tried to get people out to Circle Food Store, we tried to get as many people we could out. Then everybody wanted to ask us what happened to Circle.
Right.
So we're trying to promote this very beautifully, doing live. We ain't gonna get on there and be desperate with it. When we call out, we make a call like the Akoban call. When we make the call, we need your response, and sometimes that response is financial.
That's right.
Right? Because we need to support our Mama Vera and our Mama Jennifer of New Orleans and of Community Book Center.
That's right.
So donate, Kickstarter. Let's go.
35 years. We're going to also drop that link on the Facebook feed as well, family. So, we just need to be intentional about what we're doing because, again, another great segue. We've had 2 great segues, my fire, to the topic, but that topic is materialism, family.
Ooh.
This is our 3rd installment of Inferior Motives, which is a play on words Mama Fire conceived, as opposed to the ulterior motives. We're dealing with inferior motives, and we're looking at exactly how we've internalized these things over time, and that lends itself to the internalized racial inferiority coined and developed by our great sister, Mama Barbara Crane Major of the People's Institute for Survival and
Shout out
Beyond, some
Queen.
40 years ago. And it's important that we're citing her and we're citing you, Mama Fire, as well as this being a True Love Movement collaboration, because it's very important that we pay homage and we identify our sources, and we lift up those who have done the work and whose work we stand on their shoulders and also work on their behalf for the benefit of all of our people, Mama Fire.
Yes,
so
we
it's
do.
important for us to set that example.
Love it.
And, so without any further ado, family, materialism is what it is. This is the third one. Last week we did, first week was jealousy.
Jealousy.
Right. And then last week was
codependency.
And shout out for everybody who's joined us for the True Love Movement Tuesdays. That's on YouTube channel right now. If you missed that, you can catch up on it as soon as we get off the air.
But and this week,
go ahead. And this week what?
Materialism.
Right.
And so how does materialism connect to our inferiority, or I don't even want to say that like that. We have no inferiority for real.
Right.
This is internalized inferiority from the lie of white supremacy.
That's right.
And so it's important to fix that in your brain, right? That white supremacy is a straight up lie. It does not exist, but they've put things in place to make sure the lie, we can feel the lie,
That's
right? We can really understand it when it comes to all the systems that we have to encounter on a daily basis, on a, forever, it seems like a lifetime basis. But I do believe there's a solution to that. But, internalized inferiority and materialism, wanting so much to spend our money on something someone else can see, almost like,
right.
We're worried about what it is other people think about us and how we present to other people to make sure we seem like we got it going on as far as materialism is concerned. Am I wrong about that, Brother Shay?
You're all the way right, Mama Fire.
Yeah.
Somebody said daily in the room. That's right.
Materialism. So, Brother Shaq always so eloquently talks about how back in the days of slavery, chattel slavery, we were the money.
That's right. We were the money.
We were the material.
And yeah, I think I'm glad you brought that part of it up, because as we're opening this discussion up, it's very important that we talk about this very delicate subject with our people with a tremendous amount of compassion. We're not coming from the place where we're trying to beat our folk up for wanting things and buying things and having things. And that's important, because many of the times, as we examine ourselves as black people, there's a lot of contempt, and we can hear it in our voices about, like essentially that our people are stupid, or we just bad, or we dumb, or we all kind of things. Like in other words, we don't, because we don't have the analysis and we don't know the history and we don't have a historical context before we speak, a lot of what we're saying, Mama Fire, ends up just being our disdain for ourselves and our own people. And this is not rooted in that. That's a very dangerous thing, and there's no love in that. But we're getting ready to do a critical analysis on the ways in which materialism it shows up, but also the way it kind of keeps us in this same kind of condition most of the time in ways that we don't even realize it, just because of the socialization and the way we've implicitly learned by the age of 7. I know we saw that yesterday about values and what values are really about, Mama Fire.
And that's why it's so important to talk to our children about this, between 0 and 7 years old. And a lot of us try to give our children what we never had.
Yeah.
And so we end up giving to our children without them having to earn it in any way, or without any cause or anything. You just give. And we can plant the seed of materialism. We can plant the seed that says, I'm not good enough unless I have this thing.
Right.
I'm not good enough unless I have these shoes. I'm not good enough unless I have my hair, done this way, or these kind of toys, these kind of video games, or whatever. We have to be very careful between 0 and 7, because that is when the truth, of what we're doing on the planet is downloaded into a child.
That's right.
Right, between 0 and 7. So this is the time we should be telling them that, they have the ability to love themselves, that we love them, and we're glad that they're here, and that we're proud that we are the indigenous people of the planet. We apply that we're descendants from the indigenous people of the planet. We're the chosen people. These 0 to 7, they can get that. They can get it in the womb.
Definitely.
Right? But there's a pouring of information that our children can absorb from 0 to 7. And listen, they may absorb materialism. We got to be careful.
Right.
Like, there are things that we don't need, I think about materialism. I think about brand loyalties. I think about branding. And, we've had this conversation before on the True Love Movement Hour. And I just want to say that repetition.
That's right.
Right, Brother Shaq?
That's
repetition,
right.
saying something over and over and over in different ways is a way that we can break cycles and shift paradigms. And so, listen, y'all know our overarching understanding is that we can heal ourselves and do for self when we look inside of self.
That's right.
And realize that we have the power and we need to love ourselves and all that. That's the general understanding. And then we bring to you some understandings about how, especially on this 3-part series, how inferiority has been absorbed into you to the point where you think you need something in specific to make you feel like you're good enough.
That's right. That's right. And you talked about just now, Mama Fire, the looking inside part. Like, that's not what's happening. We're looking outside because part of the internalization has been that there ain't nothing inside. That there ain't nothing to us, that I ain't really nobody because of the way we've been dehumanized. So that's what I'm saying. I want to map that out to say that we're not just doing this because we're just dumb people or we desperate or we don't have no good understanding. We've internalized that we are less than. We've been labeled minority. Minority just means less than, So we've internalized that, and that has been our reality here and the legacy of so-called black folks here in America. That's what it's been. So as soon as we could have or access or acquire what the dominant culture had, the people who oppressed us, they always had quote unquote better stuff. We always looked up at them. We always had a ratty version of something that they had. So as soon as we were able to gain access of what they had, we wanted to cover ourselves in that so that we can feel that we were better, just better than absolutely nothing and absolutely not human. And because they were human and we were not human as far as we understood.
Right.
And the way they treated us reaffirmed that. And the way they treated us, we internalized that and said, well, we must be bad or the cursed people, as I've heard it said, and all those kinds of things. So therefore, this horrible treatment, this low standard of living must be just our lot in life in the way it is. So in order to try to escape that feeling, we have, we're grasping for things outside of ourselves because those are the things that are powerful. Not us, but those are the things that are powerful and meaning the people who make them are powerful. Because when you look at the materialism, which, by the way, is not just a thing, it's an ideology. When you have an ism on something, it's a belief system. So the belief is that something outside of you, something that you can acquire, something that you can have that's tangible, that isn't human, the belief system, the ideology is those are the things that increase your personal value. And remember, we talked years ago, Mama Fi, about the value of black folks and black people and how your value was assessed upon, the auction block. You know what I'm saying? How much you were worth, how much the potential owner was willing to pay for our ancestors. And so we are still today walking around talking about your worth and how much are you worth and measuring ourselves in a very monetary way in America, in the capitalistic system that, again, is not our invention, it isn't our doing, but we've been socialized into it. And, of course, there ain't no humanity in that, Mama Fi.
That's right. No humanity at all. Yeah, I remember when that paradigm shifted for me. When I was writing a song, I wrote a song, Walk in Your Worth, and it's a real good song. And I think on one level, yeah, it'll work. But, like, understanding that I cannot talk with, we're not worth anything as far as money is concerned. Right. Or we're worth so much, we can't even relate it to money.
Definitely.
And so that understanding is a paradigm shift for us too. I want to talk about these brand loyalties though. I was talking to a family member just yesterday, and she was telling me about, she was so excited because she got online and she was able to find something called Supreme, some kind of Supreme. This is a product, and so these are called the hype beasts. I don't know if you know anything about that, but there's a hype. Right, there's something called the hype beasts. If y'all Google it, y'all can share it in the Facebook Live thread. But she talked about this brand called Supreme. And you get on the website and you try to find anything with the name Supreme on it. And it's a specific company that makes these things. And she said it could be a stopwatch. She said it could be a bouncy ball. She said it could be just a notebook. It could be a t-shirt. It could be a hat or different things. And then when you get it, you have some type of esteem because you have Supreme brand somewhere on you. And she said things could be worth like $1,000. And she said the reason why people want the Supreme brand is because celebrities wear it.
Wow.
Right? Celebrities wear these brands, and so people try to find authentic Supreme things from the website. They buy it and they wear it, or they sell it. You know, but this, she said, it's just a plain thing with the name Supreme slapped on it.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, like, we don't even realize we're Supreme.
Definitely.
That you don't need a shirt or a bouncy ball or a stopwatch or anything that says Supreme on it. You can just walk and talk and be Supreme.
That's right, naturally.
Naturally.
We're made like that.
We are so confused about who we are. We think Jordans on our feet makes us be able to present ourselves in a way that people will respect us and honor us. Like, at least my feet live. You know, I got some stuff going on in my head, and I got some stuff going on at home, and I got stuff going on at the job, if I got a job. So Brother Shaq, wasn't we branded?
We were branded.
Weren't we? We were not only considered money or traded in a financial way, but we were also branded, Brother Shaq.
We were branded, particularly when we ran away here in this New Orleans area, in Louisiana area. We were branded with that almighty fleur-de-lis on our faces to let everyone know that we had attempted to run away.
Brother Shaq.
And, you know, I understand the Saints won big, you know, and shout out to our Mama Charlita has joined us.
Hi.
Baba Cyril Neville.
We are honored.
Definitely, Sister Rodnika Tracy.
Sister
Mojo, she's there with us too.
Oh, hey, Queen.
And everybody here listening to us. You know, I'm back to the branding piece of it, that there is a legacy of this, and we also got to look at the psychological ramifications, which typically aren't examined. But in looking at, for example, the Saints game the other night, when I picked up some family who went to the game, I mean, everyone there had on black and gold, like everybody. It was a sea of it. It was incredible in terms of the people who were leaving the dome. And they were covered in black, which is interesting. All colors of people were covered in black with the gold. And I mean, I understand the symbolism there of colors, and we know everything emanates from black. And we, of course, gold has been valued as a very regal thing. And then you put that fleur-de-lis on there, there's a lot of messaging that's happening in there. And we take part in that, because that's a brand too, Mama Fi. That's a brand.
NFL is a brand.
And we take part in that with pride. You know, we even attach our name. That's our team. That's our this.
Come
that's
on,
our that.
Shaq.
Because there's power in being a part of that whole kind of a thing, to the degree that where you're outside of that, you don't seem to be as relevant or as valuable in terms of the way we perceive it. And that perception isn't an authentic perception. It's part of a programming that we've downloaded about the inside or the in crowd or the out crowd. But we didn't create that, but we learned that kind of messaging, as you pointed out, from 0 to 7 years old. But it isn't anything that we've investigated personally. Because I've asked people, like, you know, who say, man, I love the Saints. And it's like, well, okay, that's cool, but how did this love affair happen? And what did you know, tell me about how this came to be. Only because, as much as you say that's our team and that's my this and it's my, are they consulting you about decisions? Or are you on the payroll? Or what about it actually makes it yours? And when they break it down, it's like, it's not. We want to be a part of something that's winning. You know, because as black people, we ain't really winning. Like, we got a whole history of not winning. So anytime we can associate ourselves and attach ourselves to something outside of ourselves, because we presume that to be the powerful place. We presume that to be where the power really is, completely ignoring our own supremacy, that we are in fact supreme. And every time we do that, that is simply an indicator of just how much we have been dehumanized.
Yes.
Just how much value the whole concept of value is related to whiteness, because blackness doesn't own the saints. Blackness simply plays on the saints and makes the saints, like somebody said, everything you love about New Orleans is because of black people.
Come on.
And that is 1,000% true. But in terms of where the power is, I'm not talking about positions of power. I'm talking about power to choose and decide. And where we're talking about in this monetary system, that doesn't rest with the black people. So the black people tend to want to cozy up to where that is to try to borrow some of that, because there's an understanding, whether we articulate it or not, there is an understanding about who's got the power and who doesn't. So us being able to put this covering on or say that we're a part of this other thing that seems powerful is intoxicating to a people who feel hollow, particularly around the hollow days.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So hence Black Friday. They're calling out for you, my brothers and sisters. They're calling out for you to spend your last on a huge television, you know, that you're going to center your whole family time on.
Right. And
that's a download too. Definitely. You better believe every time you sit there on that TV, they're propagandizing something in your head. You know, and I thought about, too, like, where this comes from. You know, I love, I always mention Baba Zag. We got to have him back on the show. Yeah, it's been some years. Because that's our Baba. We love him so much. But he talks about, even during the Egyptian times, that our people been tumbling. We've been tumbling a long time ago, right? Even before slavery, we've been tumbling. And he talks about, like, how we needed all these things. We needed, you know, when pharaohs and stuff passed on and transcended to the next life, they bought all of their things, and they were in these tombs, these fabulous tombs with all of these gold and all of the chains and all of the, you know, all of these things. And you know, Baba Zach said we didn't need none of that. You know, we don't do it. We never did. And so we've been tumbling a long time, and I think we are reassociating back into who we are.
That's right.
To know that we don't need anything.
Yeah,
there's another, as far as materialism is concerned, of course, you need basic needs, right? And, you know, my sisters, we be liking to look pretty, and we be liking to look good, and we like, you know, but there's a way to do that without breaking the bank, with the understanding of legacy in our minds, right? Because when you've worn a pair of Jordans, you can't take that with you, not only, and you can't leave it to your babies. You know what I'm saying? What can you leave, you know, in your legacy to a babies? You can leave a business, right, to your babies here in America, here, right? We can leave a house or land. You know, for right now, this is what we can leave that will continue creating income, possibly. You know, and nobody's trying to make anybody feel bad for what they do. But I think there's a neater way. There's a better understanding around money and about what we do and what we need to appear like, you know, you can swap with your sisters and you can buy from our people. That's the only time where I spend some good money is with my people that do African wares and these kind of things. Otherwise, I'm trying to do the thriftiest thing that I could possibly do, because I need to pass on I need to think about the legacy, think about my descendants, think about what I can really leave.
And I think too, Mama Fire, looking at, there's two things that I heard you saying there. The access part of it, the way that we, you know, we shop, and we are in this, again, it's the belief system that if I have something on, I'm going to be responded to better. I mean, that's part of the whole psychology that, you know, for men, for black men and for black women, you know, we spend a lot of time paying attention to the way we're appearing, the way we're presenting in terms of material, in terms of the clothing, you know, what we're covering our bodies with, whether we're talking about clothes or shoes or what have you, because in America, where competition, the idea of competition has been manufactured for the benefit of folks making money. Because remember, everything that makes black people feel about themselves, somebody black folks make money off of that. Like that's part of the thing, to the degree that you don't really feel, you know, people don't really get responded to until there's someone who is part of the dominant culture who's co-signing what they're covered in. Like and we
come on, that's like the Supreme brand.
That's the Supreme brand.
Kanye West wears it, so.
And many of the other brands, I'm not going to give them free plugs or free press, but you know what I'm saying. We know the brands. We know what our people
Jordan, Polo,
are wearing. That they're fixated on to the point where we're even killing one another to steal it from somebody who bought it.
Remember them starter jackets? That starter jackets back in the day when we was young,
that
Brother
was a
Shay?
major brand.
People killing themselves over starter jackets. Come on, y'all.
It's been happening because that just shows you what the pathology is. That we really feel that if I just have that thing that I don't have, I will be received better. I will be regarded as really essentially what we're saying is more human. So we're trying to communicate our humanity and our human value in what we're wearing or what we're driving, something that's covering us. I mean, to explore that, and I keep saying covering because I want us to explore that idea of covering, whether we're talking about a clothing, cars, house, whatever, covering us, meaning it protects us. It provides something around us. It insulates us. It's a barrier between those who may not like us and what we don't want people to know about ourselves. And so the idea of this belief system that what I need to have is more stuff to feel like a whole person, number one, that isn't even our mind, because we are not really those people. We are mimicking the dominant culture in doing that. They want stuff. They want things. When you ask them, typically, if you'll have conversation with folk from the dominant culture, they don't ask you who you are. They ask you what you do. So you see what I'm saying? Nobody's interested in who you are. They're just interested in what you do, because if what you do suggests what you likely have, and if you likely have these kinds of things, they can assess your value. And for black folks, your value is assessed on how much other folk can make off of you, because that's really what it is. When you got a brother or sister walking around with $500 or $600 or $1,000 or $2,000-$3,000 worth of garments on, that all of that made somebody outside of the community rich.
Oh man!
You know what I'm saying?
You feeding Gucci and Louis babies, like right. You feeding their families just to put it on, just so that you can be perceived as got it going on or got it together. A real, human being. You're a real human being if you got a Gucci belt or you got Gucci shoes or Gucci from head to toe, and you're feeding the legacy of Gucci. And you haven't put anything into your own legacy. Listen, there are ways that we can create our own fashions. I mean, then there are places, Nagash, they do their own shoes, and they're really trying to put it out there, y'all. Like Afro Nix Honeycomb, like Afro Modiste. They're putting their own brands out there. And wouldn't it be nice to say, what I'm wearing has been made by our people, and this is where I spend my money to feed the legacy of our people in the Black nation.
Tracy Elizabeth talks about Major Damage jeans and Travel Fox. She went back to the 80s.
Major Damage.
Theodoras and remember them Lottos.
Yeah, Jabos, Guess jeans, All American jeans.
Yeah, this didn't just start happening. We've been doing this for the longest, because we can access it, family. That's what we're saying, that we are wrapped up in this materialism, and I mean that literally, wrapped up in it, because we can access it. How many people do we encounter daily, Mama Fi, who are maybe a step away from homelessness, battling with addiction, struggling against mental illness? I mean, you take those three things right there. We encounter so many people like that on a daily basis who have on very expensive clothes, who have very expensive hair and makeup applications and like all these kinds of things that present that this person is living, has a certain standard of living, but in reality, they're just really like a step away from homelessness, or they might be really homeless and what young people call couch surfing and those kinds of things, and to the point when they don't have the resources to appear in this particular way, they almost disappear because they don't want to be seen without these external, these coverings, these kinds of things. And so they really are keeping up, quote unquote, an appearance. They're keeping up an image. And because they found that when they put that stuff on, people say, "Ooh, I like your hair. Oh, that's nice. Those are nice shoes." And oh, that's a nice purse, and it makes them feel good about themselves.
Oh, boy.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And because they're battling an addiction or several addictions or struggling with a mental illness, that the addiction, that's where they pick that up, trying to regulate that, or they don't have finances because they're not able to work and those kinds of things. So that makes them feel good. So you mean I just look good and people are going to treat me like a human being? Well, let me do that. Let me just do
something
that.
I can do. Yeah.
Right.
And it's all rooted in internalized inferiority. It's all rooted in that. And that's what we're trying to do, is make the connection through this 3-part series. Jealousy is also rooted in internalized inferiority. These relationships, these codependent relationships are also, and as well as materialism. This is where it comes from, y'all, because you don't need anything on your body that to say that I'm good enough.
Right.
You don't need that. And let me say, we all like to look good, and I think that's a part of our own thing. Like, Black people have rhythm, wonderful rhythm. Black people look good. You know what I'm saying? We love to look good. We are descendants of the first people on the planet. We are descendants from like the beginnings of human beings. You know what I'm saying, on the planet. So of course we want to look great. But tell me about rich people. You always telling me about rich people, brother Shay. You always telling me that.
Well, I mean, rich people. What I've noticed from studying folks who have a lot of disposable income, we'll call them those people.
Call them those people, right? Because we rich in a lot of ways,
definitely.
brother Shay.
But they buy really based on what they need. And it doesn't matter how cheap it is. It doesn't matter how accessible it is. It doesn't matter the deal. It doesn't matter any of those kinds of things. And they're really you're not able to pressure them into buying something because they have a sense of their own power and their own worth. And to the point where, it's always been said, I heard as a young person, and many of our folks listening and watching, I'm sure if you're anywhere between, let's say 30 and 70 or 30 and 80, you've heard it said about those people who they got so much money, but they got on them old jeans and them no-name tennis shoes and holes in the shirts, and they'll say, look at them, see them? They got millions of dollars, but you would never know it because they walk around like a hobo kind of thing.
Yeah, because they know about pouring stuff somewhere else.
Well, because they're not interested in what you think about them, because they understand that they've got, financially, they've got enough power to do what they desire to do. So when you don't have that reality, oftentimes you do the opposite. So you're walking around with $2,000 or $3,000 worth of clothing and shoes and jewelry. You're catching the bus, not owning a car, not even, having your own house, just like laying up on people or renting a house. But again, there's somebody who you'll be around and be like, man, he always clean. He always got this, man. He stay having new J's, and like those. And that makes us feel better about ourselves because we really don't have any real wealth. We don't really have. We don't have this. We're not doing very well academically if it's a school person. You know what I'm saying? We haven't discovered what our talents are. People don't celebrate us. So if people are constantly complimenting you about your makeup, you know what I'm saying, then it's very difficult for someone to reconcile that that's wrong. Like if they're buying expensive makeup or whatever the case is, and somebody said, well, that's materialism. You shouldn't do that. And so before they put the makeup on,
seen with that makeup on.
Right, I get, and somebody sees me, it's a glimpse of, hey, I'm here. Our people are really just trying to be seen. We're really trying to be seen, and seen not just to be seen, but to be acknowledged. Yes. For our humanity to be acknowledged. And this materialism has been a vehicle for that, Mama Fine.
Yeah, it's all rooted in internalized inferiority, Brother Shaq. It's all rooted in that. So we're going to ask people to come on and call in.
Yeah.
Call into the WBOK solution line.
That's
the
right.
number is 504-260-9265. Again, 504-260-9265. And listen, there are solutions to this, right? It's just understanding, doing the work. We always talk about the self-work. And doing that work so you can find value inside of you. You can find worth inside of you. And we don't even have to use those monetary kind of words. You can find love, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for.
That's right.
You're looking to be loved from outside of yourself instead of trying to pinpoint where that is. I just remember back in the day where I was so messed up. And so I would even steal things out of the store. because I would steal clothes for my children because I was so poor and I didn't have much money. I'd go into the store and figure out how to steal an outfit for them for Easter, an outfit for them for this, and I could have gotten in so much trouble, but I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking like my children needed to look a certain way in order for me to appear like a good mama. I'll be doggone. Like, I was so sick in that way. And it wasn't about Gucci or anything like that. It was just about what I thought, what I thought other people was thinking about me and my children. At the end of the day, a child just needs to be clean. You know what I'm saying? You clean them up. A child needs a safe place to be. A child needs good food to eat and good, you speak life into a child. Beyond that, they don't need no name brand, nothing. They don't need to appear a certain way. We put that in our children.
Right.
We put it in our children. And I was guilty of that. I don't know, Brother Sheck, have you ever been guilty of materialism? Or?
Well, I do. I mean, I think I have had times where I understood that, if I presented a certain way in terms of clothing, that I would get a different kind of response. I'd get a more human response. You know what I'm saying? And
like suits and ties.
Yeah, suits and ties, man. If I think I told that story many years ago, but like going into different places in a suit and tie and going back in a t-shirt and flip-flops as a black man, you get a different response.
Definitely.
I've never been any other kind of man than that, so I'm not sure about other people, but I will say that and just so you know, and for everybody knows, in terms of internalized racial inferiority, another manifestation of that is what we're describing right now. It's called exaggerated visibility. Again, this is Mama Barbara Crane Major's concept, but exaggerated visibility, meaning that we'll do these kinds of things to make sure, like you just got to say, Mama Fi, that you are seen. And like when you say you're dressing your children up a certain way, and I know plenty of mamas do that, and I've heard plenty of brothers do that. When I used to run shoe stores, brothers would come in there and they would, I got to get these tennis for my sons because we about to go somewhere. I can't have nobody talking bad about them.
Yeah,
you know what
and
I'm
I made
saying?
that in.
And I'm, about me either.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So it's not just the mamas. We've all from 0 to 7 years old, been socialized this way that you are what's covering you. And we don't always have language for it. It becomes very much so a part of the culture and very much so a part of tradition. But it's just another thing that we do collectively as a people that enrich the pockets of other folk, that deplete our pockets. So while we have made them very rich and wealthy buying their products, we've also, impoverished ourselves to the point where we're selling each other drugs, because we're not selling other folks drugs. We're selling each other drugs. We are robbing and killing our own people. Nobody else, just our own people, simply so that we can get those things or money to buy those things, because in the doing of that, we feel that transaction, we can feel better about ourselves, and it's addictive.
Yes, it is.
It's addictive. We got the lines lit up too, family. 504-260-9265. Again, that solution line number is 504-260-9265. Caller, thank you for holding. What's happening?
Hey, y'all. How y'all
Hey,
doing?
Hey,
what's
sister?
happening, man? What's going on?
Good. Everything good. I was calling because I'm like, I've been in like this. I'm thinking, I'm definitely not into buying name brand things. But I'm very concerned about how I look.
Right.
When it comes to how somebody's going to perceive me.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you was just saying, Brother Shay, I can walk into one place, dressed up in one way with my head scarf and my little dress on, and I can go back in my jeans and t-shirt, still look good, but get a totally different impression. And even though I know who I am,
Right.
It does do something to me to have to. I think I do it. I want to try to avoid anybody treating me a way that I don't want to be treated.
Right.
And that was just something. That was something I was thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
And also when I was in high school, I remember wanting to get some G-Nights. I wanted some G-Nights real bad, and I also remember that I really didn't care about the G-Nights. I just didn't want nobody at school, having a reason to try to treat me or say anything about me to where I would have to defend myself.
Right.
And I think also that go with the
Right.
that when we had like the big thing about it, like the big thing about the programming,
Mm-hmm.
like you put this idea out that I'm good as long as I'm better than somebody else.
Yep.
You know?
Wow.
So me trying to put on my G-nights, trying to at least have my little head off and whatever impression that I want to put out is to avoid, not to be looked at, but to
Right.
avoid anybody looking at me and doing anything negative.
Mm-hmm. Standing out.
Dressing in fitted clothes
Right.
that are comfortable, but not being able to do that because I don't want no negative attention. So
Yeah.
That's real too,
wow.
Mama.
Wow. Yeah.
Trying to fit in.
Very real.
Trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And the pressures of that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
sister.
for calling in and dropping that and adding
very,
to the conversation,
true.
Mama.
Very true. And we are in America. We're here where appearance does matter.
Definitely.
You know, like a black man with a hoodie, you never know if the brother, is a deep thinker or not. Whether he has a hoodie on or not. But may end up may end up getting targeted by the police.
That's right. Or even by his own people, because I done heard our people tell our people to take your hood off in a store or what have you. Because of again, something that we downloaded. We still got the lines lit up too, family, even though we're wrapping this up. Go ahead, caller. Thank you for holding. What's happening? Caller?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, you're on.
Yeah, my name's Michael. I was calling because this subject touched home to me a lot.
Yeah.
But I had a slightly different perspective about it. My father was Haitian when he was born. And he came over to this country, and I was born here.
All right.
But when he came, he brought his viewpoint on that, from Haiti with him.
Right on.
And it affected how I had to dress going to school.
Uh-huh.
When, like, in his opinion, tennis shoes was for playing,
right.
Not for going to school.
Not fashion.
So I couldn't wear tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Jeans were for working, not for going to school, so I couldn't wear jeans.
Right.
And it made it difficult going to school, going to public school, because it somehow turned out every year that I left, like right after I left for school, they get uniforms. I always had to deal with trying to dress around people, and I got talked about. I got talked about real bad. And it was that, that trying to fit in, identify with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But everybody else is trying to, rate themselves based on the clothes.
That's right.
So I was an easy target for them, but what it did make me realize was that the clothes don't really make who you are.
That's right.
It's easier to have the stuff that everybody has and accepts and likes and all the rest of that, but I knew who I was.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of how bad they talked about me and everything, so even though, yeah, I had to put up with some stuff coming up in school and everything, it's like my father did me a favor with that.
That's right.
Made you strong in that way.
As long as I was dressed decent, and he made sure I stayed dressed decent.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I was comfortable.
Right on,
Yeah,
brother.
thank you for sharing that good perspective.
We appreciate you adding that to it, dear brother. Right on.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, everyone who called.
It's a rare thing, and I just wanted to call in and say that.
Well, thank you,
Thank
brother.
you.
Thanks for building with us. Right on. We got one last caller, family, before we start getting out of here. Thank you for holding. What's happening?
Hey, what's happening? Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you,
Yes,
brother.
we can.
We got the clock ticking.
It's a great show. Y'all know who this is already.
Yeah,
We know
man.
you, brother. Thank you for calling.
I got to tell y'all, first of all, congratulations, Mama Fire, on the event that's about to go down.
Thank you. We excited.
Yes. Right on.
Appreciate that.
Now, as far as like how people like look at us and treat us, I used to get suit and tie dude all the time. I think I started being that way probably like in third grade, cardigans and the whole nine.
Yeah.
Like, gold teeth and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even with the gold teeth, my whole thing was I just always dressed presentable. And at one point, I forgot how to dress.
Uh-huh.
Without me realizing I forgot how to dress. Only recently when I decided to like basically assess or reevaluate my life, I realized my not wearing suit and tie clothes, things I wore that was my wardrobe.
Uh-huh.
Really changed the outlook of how people who saw me dressing in suit and ties all the time perceived and treated me when they saw saw me dressing another way without their realizing that I just forgot how to get dressed.
That's right.
And it's very amazing that y'all actually brought that up because we do get confused by certain things that we do, or we can't get Catholic in jeans and sneakers. Well, sometimes you can't get Catholic in black.
Right.
But there has been times where I could not get Catholic. I was dressed down Friday, but Thursday I was able to get Catholic without a problem.
That's right.
So,
bro,
awesome. Thank you.
We appreciate you putting that in there too, especially right at the end, man. We love you, brother, and thank you for joining us and listening for these whole 5 years too, man.
And you already know, champion, y'all keep it up.
Right on,
yes,
you too, man.
Yes, yes.
It's been a fast hour, family, and we just got a couple of housekeeping things before we get out of here. Of course, next Saturday, Cafe Istanbul from noon to 2 o'clock, there is the WNOZ Jazz for Kids toy drive and concert.
Yes.
And so Mama Fire is going to be performing. We got the Israels that are going to be on stage live. The mission is an unwrapped gift for a child, and there's going to be a Facebook event. There's an Eventbrite event that we're going to drop into the feed on the today's show.
Yeah.
To 2120 Port Street for the Embassy Suite Showcase featuring Mama Fire and so many brilliant, beautiful people.
Yeah, they're starting at 8:30 on the dot, y'all. I'm third in line. I need y'all there to support this situation.
Come out.
We're going to end with the Money song, the last verse in the Money song. I need people to listen to these lyrics and understand that we're not trying to shame anybody who's doing their thing as far as they want to look good, they want to feel good, and these kind of things. But it's a good way to end the show.
It's a great way to end the show of Materialism being the third manifestation of inferior motives. Family, we thank you.
All right, what? All right, y'all. See y'all.